Hello, this is Elliott Lindmer, the host of the Swine Brothers show, with a little solo rant slash update. The topic of today is blind accessible video games, which I have to admit I didn't really know was a thing until quite recently. But first, for those of you who are uh, loyal subscribers, I can't really say that with a straight face, all two of you, you're probably wondering where we've been. I've been here doing things, listening to metal albums. Jim has been playing video games and working, but also playing video games. He's apparently building this weird, incestuous, ancient society of inbreds, which is fantastic and interesting. But I'd like to be doing more shows. Um, I'm also still looking for co-host for the metal show that I want to do, because there's a lot of great albums, and I wish I could talk about them more rather than just posting them to Facebook and the Swine Brothers Facebook page, which is I have access to again. If you subscribe or if you like that page, you'll find all the great music I've been listening to, and it is great because I said it is. If so, we're still looking for co-hosts. If you'd like to audition and or just do it. Um, get in touch. Cosmicgodsdie at gmail.com is my email. I think the Facebook page is in the description of every video, and so is a lot of other stuff. I believe my Discord's in there as well. I don't remember. It's been a while. um, I mean, this year's been so great for metal releases already. New Brodekin, Midnight. The new Brodekin album's been amazing. It's as brutal as they've been previously, but with some new elements, even some black metal. And New Midnight, someone must have pissed him off quite well because it's definitely more furious than he's ever been. So yes, if you'd like to be a co-host and talk metal with me for a couple hours, get in touch. We're also, of course, open to doing interviews. I might have an interview with a legendary Australian grind band coming up soon. Just have to get you know, all the schedules down and things like that. Other than that, I've been basically just listening to metal and buying metal CDs. My two favorite recent acquisitions, I like that word, are an early copy of Terrorizer's World Downfall and a 1982 pressing of Deicide's Legion, which is one of the greatest death metal albums of all time. So that's what I've been doing. Blind accessible video games. I'll admit I didn't know this. I had heard some rumors about it, but I never really heard much about this subgenre. Uh, I liked playing video games when I was a kid. I mainly played racing games, and albeit I crashed all the time, but it never really bothered me that I couldn't play them in the same way that a sighted person can, because for me, it was just something to do and have fun with. I crashed. I drove around and I crashed. Um, that was fun enough for me. Actually, Grand Theft Auto 3 is a really fun. I've only played 3. I've never played any of the other games, although I know about them. But 3 is actually really fun if you're blind because you can just kind of roam around and fire off weapons and steal cars and crash them and die. And I mean, it. Who cares if you can't complete any missions? It's the world is just so fun to explore. Um, I played other games. I played a couple Simpsons games and stuff. So I would play games, but it wasn't that they weren't the main focus of my life. That would be racing and later on heavy metal and punk rock music. Um, in 2006 or 2007, I got the new, for the time, Braille computer called the Braille Note Taker or Braille Note, which was a sort of laptop but for Braille. And the why I was so excited about it was because in 2006 we finally had wireless internet, plus a recorder. Which, if any of you have ever heard my noise project, Fucked Up Society, from 2009 or 2010, the uh, the drums and vocals were recorded on the Braille note recorder, which is why the sound is so crunchy. Because let's face it, it was made for memos, not noise grind. So basically, the microphone's just distorted. But it's awesome in its own way. But anyway, so I get it, and it has wireless internet, and think that's awesome because I can surf the web from anywhere, in the house. But there's also a thing called games, which I was kind of interested with what sort of games could be on a Braille computer. And it turned out they were text adventures. Now, if you don't know what text adventures are, they were very popular in the old days, although contrary to popular belief, they never completely went away. They just went more of a hobbyist circle. But they're games where it's just text on screen. So, you know, a dragon is in front of you, and then you type kill dragon, and whatever happens happens. So you just text on screen, and you have a screen reader, and you type it in, and it's fun. There are a lot of great games. My favorites are Vespers, which is a dark game about the Black Plague, and Anchorhead, which that guy really knew his Lovecraft. um, so I still play text adventures every now and then. I enjoy them, and thankfully there's web software to play them in. So and my screen reader accepts them. So yeah, it's they're very fun, and for the first time I can actually complete games and actually immerse myself in them rather than just crashing and acting like a dick shooting off weapons. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Um, but so today I watched about a 2-year-old video by a YouTuber named Paper Will, and it was about blind accessible video games. And I was kind of curious to see what that was, and it turns out that people have been trying to make blind accessible games for some time now, and they're sound driven. Some are voiceover, and some are sound driven, where like you'll have um, audio cues to where you pick something up and it makes a sound related to what it is. Um, it's just kind of interesting. Although there's slim pickings and the plots really aren't that interesting. There's one that he was showing off. It's called Lost and Hound, where you're some sort of corgi helping out people. I was wondering if they had like a thing where you could maul your owner to death, but unfortunately they didn't have that. Maybe I'm just the wrong type for that game. I don't know, but I like going evil. But and be honest, a corgi mauling its owner to death would be fucking hilarious to watch. But anyway, so it's an interesting concept. One of the things that Paper Will was talking about was a weird Japanese game from the 90s, I think, that was completely blind accessible. I guess you're a kid who falls in love with another kid. Not quite corgis mauling people to death. And he was talking about how it was blind accessible, but his complaint was that the game described everything in visual terms. So like the narrator would say that he was seeing things up ahead and they were shaped like things and colors that he'd seen. And I guess he didn't like that. He's not blind, he's fully sighted. And he was talking about not really liking that because he thought that blind people couldn't relate to it. And what he doesn't understand is this is not a blind world we live in. This is a very much a sighted world we live in. Blind people, at least me, I can't speak for anyone else, but I understand what colors are. I may not comprehend them, but I understand what colors are and I can understand what shapes are. So playing as a sighted person is not a big deal for me. It's not. He actually used the word blind empathetic, which come on, I don't need your empathy, people. I have my own empathy. I don't need yours. Um, I guess I took a little issue with it because he just doesn't know what it's like to be a blind person. Okay, he blindfolds himself and does play testing. That's fantastic, but that's not being blind. That's fucking-